Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be with you here at the opening of Raindance Film Festival. How does it feel to be here tonight?
It's great. I mean, I think it's a fantastic opportunity to really champion diversity in terms of voices, storytelling. But I think it's also an opportunity to champion world cinema and debut voices and British filmmaking. So it's wonderful to have a film festival that is so completely dedicated to independent cinema in this country, but also to emerging voices.
And of course, the opening film tonight, Cuckoo, and also Chiwetel, being presented this Icon Award by Steve McQueen. Two very special things. Are you looking forward to seeing that all unfold?
I am. I mean, obviously Steve is an incredible filmmaker, and having briefly worked with him myself and been very, very lucky to do so, he just is one of my idols. And so is, Chiwetel. I just think he is one of the most talented actors of his generation. So I'm really thrilled to be here to be a part of that.
And reflecting on your own career, I guess you started at such a young age. You've really, done such a vast range of things. Can you tell us what have been some of the highlights and things you've been working on recently?
Oh my goodness.
Off the top of your
well, I've just finished something called Dune, which is a series that I'm really looking forward to seeing. And I've loved the film, so that's been great.
And, how have you perhaps seen the industry evolve, particularly from a women's perspective or, diversity in film? Have we made a lot of progress? Are there areas that you'd still love to see things move forward on?
I think I would love to see us make more progress in terms of women in film. There are only 7% female directors in the industry and only 14% writers. So I think that's something that really needs to change. I think it's incredible, coming from a family who immigrated to this country, that there is more of a focus now on diversity and diversity of voices, wherever that comes from. It's really exciting to see that change, and that has absolutely evolved during the time that I've been a part of this industry. But I really think we need to absolutely start really making changes for women to get involved behind the camera, and I'd like to see more of that.
And would you say there's also seems like even quite recently been more of a reckoning about how people were looked after in the industry when they were coming into it so young? I mean, I was thinking of Sarah Polley, for example. I mean, I don't know if you ever had any experiences like that, but I think that's also something that hopefully we're moving forward on, at making sure that if you come into the industry, particularly as a woman at a young age, you're definitely being looked after.
I think Sarah Polley is an incredible filmmaker. What's great is that people are having conversations now, and our culture is changing, and that's fantastic. People really need to be able to kind of have discussions about their experiences and about our industry, and that's great to see.
And how do you compare, I guess, working on more independent film and then being on some of these bigger budget, like The Witcher, of course, production values through the roof, but probably a very different experience. Do you have any preference for each, or you like to sort of dabble in both?
I think the great thing about film is that you really have a relationship with the director from start to finish. So there's a real sense of complicity there, and there's a real sense of continuity in that working relationship. And of course, when you're working on a television series, this is a very different experience, because you're working with lots of different directors, which is, incredible in its own and very different way. But there is something wonderful about being able to tell a story from the beginning, middle, to the end, with one director as well. So it's great to be able to shift between the two, and they are both incredible experiences in very different ways.
And what might be left on your bucket list, in terms of stepping behind the camera? Any directors you haven't worked with yet you'd love to? Any genre you haven't yet tried?
There's loads. There's loads. God, how long have we got? I think it's just great to be a part of such a kind of revival of cinema after we've had 2 years of people kind of not coming into theatres. I think it's really exciting that that's getting going again, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that.
And definitely the UK industry seems in a really good place, and it just always feels like the audience is here in London as well. Everyone is just so dedicated and interested, and this is always such an appetite for such a broad range of cinema here.
I think there is a great appetite at the moment, and I think we've seen some incredible British films this year. That's incredibly exciting to see. I think, maybe we need to be a bit more daring as well about what films we choose to make, because I think that, there's a bit of risk aversion in terms of only committing to genre-based films at the moment, which I think needs to shift so that we can, really start to see more investment in adult dramas. Other than that, it's a really exciting climate of films to see at the moment. So yeah.
Any particular film on the lineup for this year that you're really keen to see? Well, I guess you get to see Cuckoo tonight, so.
I think what's great about Raindance is that they always curate really interesting combination of British film and world cinema, and that's what I'm really excited to see more.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for your time. Really enjoyed the night.